Hey everybody, it's Dave with No Chaser. And so for today's topic, first of all, I'm still sober. Since my last video and update, I am now 2 weeks sober. Made it through a full 2 weeks, and you know, it was just a slip, not a full-on relapse. So I'm grateful for that. So it was a little bit easier to get back up on the horse and keep moving along. But anyways, I was thinking for today's topic, where this channel is not about doling out advice. I mean, obviously, I'm like still struggling in this. I'm with you, people that are in the thick of it and trying to get this thing right. So it's not about giving advice. It's about, just relaying the experience, maybe giving some insight through my years of when I did have success and the struggle and blah, 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 blah. But, I was thinking I wanted to do more videos that also just highlight the good things, about recovery. Like, be not just warnings of things that can happen, or just relaying, like, how arduous and tough it is. And, it's good to be in the catharsis of knowing that you're not suffering alone, but also to relay, like, why you do it. And so I was thinking, like, just for today, and this is something I've thought, like, many times before, but man, one thing that is just super nice is just not living the secret life. Not living with, like, all the lies. Like, if you think about it, you basically have to live a double life if you are in active alcoholism or addiction and you're, like, trying to get away with it. Like, if you're getting away with it, like, through your job and work and family and significant other, just any attachments that you have to the community or society as a whole. And, it's like you're a secret agent, except you're infiltrating just nothing. Like, you're living an average life. Like, you're working at Jiffy Lube or doing insurance stuff or something. You're not, like, invading Russian, like, think tanks or something. Like, but you really are. And it's like, the brain is not meant to do this, to keep up with, like, to, like, separate itself into, like, a different, like, reality that you're supposed to remember. And mind you, this would be difficult just for the average person to do. Just, like, remember all the lies and keep up all the stuff, like, where I was doing or why I did this thing. But you're also, like, doing it with something, like, especially drinking, that affects you cognitively, that hurts your memory. Like, even to the point where sometimes you're, like, blacking out and you don't have memory. Like, so not only are you doing this incredibly difficult thing, but you're doing it with, like, a handicap to the mind. And, it just, like, the lying it feels awful. But not only that, the stress it puts on you. And and the anxiety that's there. Like, one thing in particular is that because of living a secretive life, because of living in just with all these lies, is that I was under the suspicion of everything. Like, it's this sort of paranoia because how I felt inside of what I was doing, that, like, for example, when I was working, anytime, no matter, like, if work was going well, like, regardless of anything, anytime I was called into the manager's office, I was like, I'm getting fired, I'm getting fired, I'm getting fired. Like, I carried that anxiety with me every single time. And usually it was just like, hey, we're doing this thing differently now, or, like, congratulations or something. But no, every single time I was like, this is the time of getting fired, because, that your life is just behind this thin veneer of, you're just under this thin sheet of ice, this whole iceberg of just a double identity and lies. And the other thing too, and this is something where after, like, some time of sobriety, when you talk to people more earnestly and honestly and openly, you also learn that you didn't get away with it that much. Like, that is one huge thing that I had realized, is that a lot of times people, they just don't know how to, like, approach you. They know that you're doing something, but you're maybe not doing it so egregiously that, like, they have to call you out on it. And the thing is, it's like, it's this weird sort of staring contest of who's going to blink first. But the problem is that once you blink, you don't know what to do. So, like, if you call someone out for, like, being an alcoholic, but you don't think they're going to stop, especially, like, this more so at work, like, what are you going to do? Like, hey, I know that you're drinking, or like first of all, maybe it's you're drinking on the job, which is maybe like you're getting away with it, and it's just like whatever. It's like you're not outwardly drunk, you're just doing fine, so whatever. But like if I call you out on that, I'm just some guy in your life that's a coworker. Like you're not gonna. I don't want to tell on you, and you know, like alcoholics and addicts are people too, and a lot of times they're fine. They're good people. They're just getting by. So like, I don't want you to lose your job in any of this stuff. So I don't want to be a part of any of this. So I don't know what to do. I don't want to call you out. Like, so I don't know. And that's just like the drinking on the job part. Like if you're a person that you know they're doing drugs, or they're drinking super heavily every night because they just come in and they look disheveled and they maybe they run late, or they have just those patterns of behavior that's unnatural. Like they're just in the morning they're always like really bad, but then throughout the day they get a little bit better, and just it's just so noticeable. Like that's the other thing too, is like why it's so hard to lie, is because like drinking and doing drugs makes you act in this unnatural way. Like the rhythm of how you act is disrupted, so it's just super noticeable. Like, you know, anytime I was at any sort of function or working with somebody, or even in treatment with somebody that was like drinking or hiding it or something, it was so obvious because their just mood and stuff would change just out of nowhere, and people aren't like that. Like that just doesn't happen. So you just have this thing where you're lying, and people can know, but they just don't know what to do with it. And so maybe you sit back and think that you're getting away with it, but you're really not. They just like, you're just a problem to do it. And that's just what, so people like that are maybe ancillary or just like not so personally connected with you. Although coworkers are, you know, if you think about it, it's kind of weird. You spend most of your waking hour with them, but people closer in your life, you know, your significant other, family, stuff like that, maybe they don't want to bring it up because one, they don't know how bad it is. Two, they don't think you're going to stop. And again, it comes back to that staring contest thing. Like if I blink, but I don't think anything's going to happen, now it's just super awkward. Now, it may be kind of weird now, but it's way worse that it's out in the open because we'll just know it and you're not stopping. And there's nothing I can do about it. And so you just kind of like let it go on. So the crazy thing is that you're living in this, you're doing all these lies. And I mean, this is so awful, but this is what the mind does. Like, I would get to this point where, this is crazy. I would be resentful of how much I had to lie and almost have this sense of like, all these lies, you're mad at me for lying? These lies are for you, babe. Like, I'm just doing this for you because just to keep up appearances. I'm not going to be so rude to drink in front of you, to kill myself slowly in front of you. Like, that's how crazy it was. So you keep up with all these lies. You're trying to remember things. You're trying to, like, come up with these excuses, and they have to be viable, and you have to create, like, a separate, like, reality, like, just reasons that you go out maybe to go to the liquor station, the gas station, or to meet up with a drug dealer to pick up drugs, or reasons that you don't have money, or reasons you're running late. You have to like fabricate, like I'm a writer myself. By the way, At Least the Pain is Cheap. My new book is out. Get it on Amazon. Sorry, I had to plug. Like I'm a writer, so my mind at least is attuned to this, but I can't imagine for other people that like you have to separately create a different reality with different alibis and different things to tell people, to convince them that you were doing something that you weren't doing, or that you were not doing something that you're doing. And it's just like, again, doing that juggling act in your head is stressful. It's just stressful just doing that. It's cognitively like overbearing. And then you have the pull of like the morality of it, that you're lying, and you're just like, Christ, you know, because I have to do this to keep up with this addiction, with this drinking, and because it's so ingrained in my life, it means that I'm lying most of the time, which is an insane thing to think. Like, as a person, that, maybe not most, but like, a lot of what you're saying is untrue. And you're not like, you're not a sociopath. You're not like an evil person doing dastardly deeds, and or you're a criminal, so you're like getting away with stuff, and that's why you're lying, or you're a secret spy person or whatever. You're just doing this thing that you think is helping you get by, or you just can't stop doing. And so you are literally just, you are creating a separate reality that you have to express to others and keep up with and try to remember while maintaining your actual reality. And you have to balance those things, and you're doing it meanwhile, while you're doing it, you have this incredible sense of shame about doing it too. And so, with that being said, it's so nice not to live like that. It's so like, I mean, this is probably something crazy to like the normal people, normies or whatever, to say, but just to live with your actions and behaviors being aligned with what you're actually doing and saying is just so nice. I mean, that may sound crazy to another person, but as a person that, when you're under the thumb of the addiction, you like have to live like that. So when you don't, oh my gosh, it's just such a relief. Like, it almost feels like so much like you clean the gutters of your mind. Like, you like cleaned your room, you cleaned out all the junk, you changed the oil, like you just, all this free space now to like just have your mind be at ease, because you're not like juggling and like shoving stuff under the drawers or putting stuff up and just like trying to hold up this whole facade of like what you're doing. And you can just be like, you know what? I can tell you what I was doing, and it's easy because it's what I was doing. And you may have, like, again, because you live so long with lying, like as I had, that, you know, people may question you at times, and there's the defensiveness that rises in you, that you just go, I don't like that feeling because I'm doing the right thing. You just have to remember, like, humble yourself and remember, dude, you were, or at least I was, lying for so long that you have to let them, they can be suspicious. They can be a little judgmental. They can be a little, like, vigilant about, you know, questioning what you're doing, because for such a long time, it was just all BS. So, but you don't have to live like that anymore. You can have your open mind and just live freely. When your manager calls you into the office, you can go, what do you need? Or whatever. Anyways, other than that, check out my podcast that I co-host, Shoeless in South Dakota. It's on all major podcast players. I'll put a link in the description. And like I said, my book, At Least the Pain is Cheap. It covers addiction, it covers trauma, mental illness, and it's a collection of poetry about the forgotten lives and people and the experience of the American Midwest. In America in general, just living that life in all these secret places and all that good stuff. So other than that, be well.